It is 6:30. We're going to begin. We have a lot to get done tonight. We're going to open with prayer, and I have asked Mr. Ben Davis, who is the president of the newly formed Hunt County Young Republicans. He is the president. He's going to lead us in prayer.
All right, let's bow our heads. Thank you, Lord. Bless your holy name. Thank you that we can gather tonight to learn more about these candidates. Please give us wisdom, discernment, that we would know who we should have do your business in this county. Thank you, Lord. Please bless this time. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Now, Kathy Shirey, the vice president of the Hunt County GOP Club, will lead us in the pledge, first to the American flag and then the Texas.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you all for coming out this evening. I'm going to first give you a few quick announcements. Mark your calendars. February 17th begins early voting, and you're doing the right thing by being here tonight and getting educated so that you make an informed vote. People always say we want more people to vote, and I always say we want more informed people to vote. Quite honestly, I prefer the people who aren't informed to stay at home because they dilute the votes of the informed voter. Now, I also work very hard to inform voters, so I'm not trying to suppress the vote. I'm trying to increase the number of informed voters. Okay, if you start on February 17th, then March 3rd is Election Day. There's some other things that happen right after that. The Saturday following Election Day, that Saturday, March 7th, is precinct conventions. How many of you have ever been to a precinct convention? Okay, that is where the business starts being done. It will be here in this building starting at 9:30 on that Saturday morning. It's the Saturday following Election Day, so it's March 7th. No, it begins at 9 a.m., not 9:30. That convention usually lasts maybe 2 to 3 hours. Then if you are elected to be a delegate to the county convention, that happens March 26th. If you do that, come prepared for 5 or 6 hours. It's a lot of work. We do a lot there, but you have to have been elected a delegate. So watch the Facebook page for the Hunt County GOP Club and for the Republican Party of Hunt County, and we'll give you more information about that as it comes. Okay, a few other things. This event is sponsored by the Hunt County GOP Club, and the work to get this put together was done by our people. And so I appreciate that group that helped with that. We also, we have an annual membership due. It is $40 for a year. It's $60 per couple. That is, what else do you get where we give you 10 meetings a year for that? We have to pay those costs. We have to pay the cost of this. And quite honestly, we need some donations to help because we have to pay a premium because this was such a long event. So there is a donation jar in the back. And if you'd put a few dollars in that, it would help us a lot. We have a very lean budget. If you just think about it, $40 in a year or $30 if it's a half of a couple. So anyway, we'd appreciate your help. There's also water because this is going to be a long evening. In the past, we've divided this into 2 events. When that happens, we have to do the enormous work for the setup twice. We have to pay all the costs twice. And so we thought this time we would try this. I also looked at what other counties were doing, and they had longer events. So I thought our people are up to that. So it's going to be a long evening, but you don't have to come back again. So that's the good news. Okay. We will have an intermission about halfway through. It will be 10 minutes and it will be strictly enforced because it's a long evening and we don't want to waste all of your time. So do what you need to do quickly. Okay. The ladies' restroom is here through this door. The men's restroom is from the back. Don't go through the door in this room. Go to the left around the corner, and that's the men's restroom. So there's water back there, there's the restroom there, and the restroom here. Also, at the table that you came in, as you came in, if you want to be on our mailing list, fill it out, put your email address, please print very legibly. And I know we all think we are. I did the secretary job a lot of years, and I promise you, there's a huge percentage of us that do not write legibly. I will say us because sometimes I can't even read my own writing 2 weeks later. So I can say those things, but email is not forgiving. If there's one letter we can't read, it kicks back. So please be careful. Okay, here are the rules for the evening. The questions used this evening were developed by 2 separate teams. When you have a lot of grassroots people that live and breathe politics, you can imagine we have connections with some of these candidates. So what we do is we divide the group, we find out what the connections are that people have, and then no one serves on the committee with the campaigns they're have any connection with. Okay. And that means like Kathy led a committee and I led a committee. She doesn't know what questions I've asked and I don't know what questions she's asked. And we haven't shared that with anybody. Now there is an exception. You'll notice there's some lightning round things that are that are just kind of general, and you'll recognize those. We did obviously talk about those kind of things, but the other questions, I've thought of some questions I'd love for her to ask, but I haven't even told her that. And she, I'm sure, has thought of some she'd love our group to ask, and she hasn't talked to me about that. Okay. The seating and order of speaking has been decided by drawings. The tables were based on first come, first served. And we try to do everything we can to be as fair as possible and even-handed to all the candidates. We commend every one of you who've come to use this time to become informed voters. That is what we need to happen more and more in America. Folks, we're going to lose our state. We're going to lose our country if we don't become informed. What happens when we have uninformed voters going to our primary is, when something happens and you say, why did my guy do that? Or why did my gal do this? That's not what we agreed on. It's because, everybody's mailers look the same, right? They all say they're conservative. They all mostly say they're pro-life. They all will say, it's like, nothing. So you have to do more work than that. So thank you tonight. You showed that you're trying to do a little bit more than that. I also want to thank the candidates for coming. This is not an easy thing to do. We appreciate them. We could not offer you this without their willingness to do this. Of course, they're wanting to serve us. We are going to be their bosses, not the other way around. But it's a hard thing to do. Some of these people haven't had this kind of experience before. So thank you all for coming. Tonight's forum is going to include all of our local contested races and our CD3 congressional race. There is to be an event. Some of you may not know, when we're redistricting, They have divided Hunt County, and we're going to be represented in CD3 and CD32. CD32 is a district that is currently represented by a Democrat. And when you heard in the news that there were 5 seats that are supposed to be won over by the Republicans, CD32 is one of the 5 that were to win for Republicans. So if you know anybody that lives in the CD32, encourage them to get informed and vote. They are not addressed in the forum. I talked to our party chair, David Hale, and he also agreed this is not the best format for that. There are 9 candidates. So there's to be a meet and greet with those candidates in the middle of that part of the county that is called CD32. If you'll watch our Facebook page and the county party page, that will be announced there. Our party chair is leading that, and that's all the information I have at this point. So, this event is being streamed live right now. Owen Collins, who is our secretary, is our technical support. He's an addition, a very welcome addition, and he is doing all that for us. And it will also be available in recorded form after it's over so that you can go back and see it if you would like. After the formal portion of the event this evening, we encourage you to go to the tables and visit the candidates. That's a big part of this because you're going to sit there and say, we can't ask a lot of questions because we've got so many candidates. But you have something you want to ask a candidate. Go to the table one-on-one, ask them the questions. They want to answer you. This is some of the easiest campaigning they can do. So while they're answering your question, there are other people that'll be around and hear their answer. So don't be shy. That is part of the reason for the event. That's why they worked hard to set up their tables. Please spend the time doing that. Okay, here's how the forum's going to go. The opening statements will be 2 minutes, closing statements 1.5 minutes. For most of the questions, the candidates are given 90 seconds. You know what? And I have it in my notes wrong, but you are right. Even while I was reading it, I thought that didn't make sense. Thank you. Okay, the opening statement is 1.5 minutes and the closing is 2 minutes. Thank you. Okay, most of the questions, they'll be given 90 seconds. There are some lightning rounds and there are signs there, yes, no. And when those happen, you answer at the same time with your yes, no. Those are quick anyway. Candidates are going to answer. The opening's going to be based on a drawing and then they'll alternate. So we try to share the opportunity for being first. The final rules for the audience, please refrain from any reaction. This is the hard part, positive or negative, because that takes away from the time the candidates have to answer and then people can't hear what they're saying. So there should be no outbursts from the audience. We're going to be Southern polite. This is a time to do that. And that doesn't mean Southern polite does not mean that when you're at that table, you can't ask them a hard question. That's good vetting of candidates. So I'm not saying that, but we're going to be polite in this interchange up here. You be polite at the table too, but that doesn't mean you can't ask a tough question. Hold your applause until the end of each race. And we're going to try to do this quickly. Candidates, you're going to need to lean into the microphone as you speak. We want everybody to be able to hear you. It's not a natural thing to do. We tested it. Are y'all hearing in the back? Okay. And we tested this afternoon or this morning, but you have to have your mouth, you have to bite into that mic. So do that. Okay. The candidates all have a sheet of paper that tells the order of the races. Be prepared very quickly when these two ladies step down. The Justice of the Peace people need to be ready to immediately go into place. Okay. Now let's begin. Okay, y'all can do your opening statement. Good evening. Good evening, friends and neighbors. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Becky Landrum, and I am honored to serve as your Hunt County Clerk. I have been in this office for over 13 years and have been a public servant for more than 23 years. I first stepped into this role as County Clerk in September of 2021, and it has been one of the greatest honors of my life to serve the people of Hunt County. I am proud to lead an incredible team of 13 dedicated individuals. We are a diverse, hardworking group, and providing excellent customer service is our top priority. Every person who walks through our doors deserves kindness, respect, and clear answers, and that is exactly what we strive to deliver every day. Our office is open 41 hours a week, and we serve the public, and our website is available for pre-printing forms needed for services. Additionally, I am always available to support our judges and elected officials. Looking ahead, my vision is simple. Continue providing excellent customer service, ensure all filings and records are handled promptly and securely, and to preserve and protect Hunt County's rich history by maintaining and restoring our historical records for generations to come. For the past 5 years, I have run the office with honesty, transparency, and efficiency. I will continue to do so with the same passion and dedication. I am asking for your trust, your support, and your vote as I seek re-election for the Hunt County Clerk. Thank you, and God bless Hunt County.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you. Ready? Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here. My name is Kelly Wineinger, and I'm honored to be a candidate for Hunt County Clerk. I've spent most of my career in county government and public service. I've been married to my husband, Randy Wineinger, for nearly 10 years, and together we are proud to call Hunt County home. I hold a degree in business management, and before moving to Hunt County, I served as an elected tax assessor collector for over 5 years. That role taught me accountability, leadership, and the responsibility that comes with holding public office. After moving here, I continued my commitment to public service as chief clerk for the Hunt County Justice of the Peace Precinct 4, a position I've held for 8 years. In that role, I work daily with judges, attorneys, law enforcement, and the public, often handling sensitive matters where accuracy, professionalism, and compassion truly matter. This past March, I became state certified as a civil clerk, further strengthening my knowledge of court procedures and records management. As your county clerk, my priorities are simple: accurate records, faster service, and a customer-friendly office, open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 for the people of Hunt County, while I will remain available 24/7 to support our judges, courts, and the county attorney's office. I would truly appreciate your support and your vote. Thank you, and it would be my honor to serve as your next Hunt County Clerk.
Okay, this is a question. First question. How do you measure the accuracy and efficiency of your department, and how would you ensure transparency of that information to the residents of Hunt County?
For me, well, you have to, transparency is like public records requests and stuff. You have to do that in a certain amount of time. Transparency is having the stuff online available for people to view. And I just feel a lot of stuff is done online, and having that online helps people with transparency.
Sure. How do you measure the accuracy and efficiency of your department, and how would you ensure transparency of that information to the residents of Hunt County?
Accuracy is probably one of the
one thing that we really strive for in our office, we do checks. We have checks on each other. I have certain people that do certain things, and then I have another person check them, or I will come in behind and check them. Transparency, we always try to do everything transparent. Of course, in the clerk's office, there are some Bible records that are not allowed for public view. So we are very protective of those records, keeping, people's information safe. That doesn't need to be out there. We do handle juvenile cases. We do handle protective orders and delicate things, people's vital records, births and deaths. We have a closed time on all of that. But we do try to have everything out on the internet, on the website, to where people can do searches for anything that you might need.
Okay, the next set of questions is the rapid response. So you will use your paddle too. Okay. Have you ever failed to comply with a legal filing deadline in a prior job? Okay. Have you ever allowed personal beliefs to influence how you perform an official duty? Have you ever been involved in a litigation related to public records or transparency? Will you commit to a regular audit of your office's procedures and records? And lastly, have you ever refused a lawful public request because it would be uncomfortable for you? Now we will do our closing statements.
As we look towards 2027, my vision comes from the heart: to keep the Hunt County Clerk's office running smoothly, serving every citizen with honesty, respect, and care. This office belongs to the people, and every day I'm honored to do this work for you. I take great pride in preserving the history of our county, those records and stories that connect generations and remind us where we've come from. And I'm just as committed to guiding this office into the future with efficiency, accountability, and a spirit of service. I couldn't do this alone. It takes teamwork from our staff, our elected officials, our department heads, and all of you who believe in making Hunt County the best it can be. So tonight, I simply ask for your continued trust and your vote to reelect Becky Landrum as your Hunt County Clerk. Together, let's honor our past, serve our present, and build a strong future for Hunt County. Thank you.
As we close tonight, I feel this office should be efficient, welcoming, and dependable. It should be a place where people are greeted with professionalism, where questions are answered clearly, and where documents are handled accurately, on time, every time. As county clerk, I will lead an office that values training, accountability, and customer service. Staff will be well-trained, supported, and expected to treat every person with respect and courtesy. People come to the clerk's office during important moments, buying property, filing records, handling legal matters. They deserve a team that is prepared, approachable, and committed to getting the job done right. I've dedicated my career to public service. I've served as an elected official, managed staff and budgets, and worked daily inside our court systems alongside judges, attorneys, and law enforcement. For the past 8 years, I've been proud to serve the people of Hunt County as Chief Clerk for Justice of the Peace Precinct 4. I believe county government should work for the people it serves, not the other way around. I will lead with integrity, professionalism, and respect for public trust. I'm ready to provide steady leadership, a positive office culture, and a clerk's office the people of Hunt County can count on. I respectfully ask for your support and your vote. Thank you, and it would be my honor to serve as your next Hunt County Clerk.
Notice we have gotten word there is a car illegally parked at the police station. They will not give us a description, but they're preparing to tow it away. So if you are not in a clear, if you're not sure you're parked properly, you may want to go make sure your car is okay.
Good luck.
Okay, each candidate is going to make an opening statement. Please, they have been asked to include a description of the qualifications they have that equip them to serve effectively as justice of the peace. Mr. Smith.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for being here this evening and all the candidates. I ask that God be with each one of us as we're here and that his hand is on this evening all the way through. My name's James Smith. I'm running for Justice of the Peace, Precinct 1, Place 2. I started out years ago as a civil process server and began to learn the things about our courts and the legal system. In doing that, I moved on to become a licensed investigator in the state of Texas, which I've now been for over 25 years. During this time, I've spent many days in and out of the courtrooms. I've worked with numerous attorneys. I've worked with judges. I've worked with legal assistants, legal teams, and so forth. My qualifications, I feel, are strong. I've learned many things while being in the courtroom. And in doing so, I've been around some of the best people that you can be around to learn what you need to know to be in these kind of positions. I also spent about 15 years in real estate. I understand the procedures of real estate. I understand there's good and bad, and in the leasing process, which is a part of the justice of the peace, you have a number of things to where the people need to be heard on both ends. We shall say it. As I said, I've worked with. Is that it? Thank you.
Yeah, I should have pointed out your timer is here and we will honor it. So it's very big. They can see it well. So I'm sorry, I should have pointed that out. Okay.
Hi, good evening, and thank y'all for being here. My name is Venessa Woodlee, and it's an honor to be serving for your Justice of the Peace, Hunt County, Precinct 1, Place 2. A little bit about myself. I've been married to my amazing husband for 20 years. Together, we have 4 beautiful daughters and an amazing son. We've called Hunt County our home for the past 15 years, where we built our lives and invested in this community. A little bit about my past. 20 years in law enforcement. Started my career in 2002 at the Garland Police Department, where I served as a patrol officer for 13 years. During that time, I was often the first to respond to those calls for service when people were in crisis. This made me a better person to understand people's needs, to listen carefully, and to make decisions based on facts, fairness, and the law. After taking a brief break, raising our small children, I returned to law enforcement with a focus on school-based policing. I've served at the Greenville ISD Police Department, Hunt County Sheriff's Office as a school resource officer, and currently I'm assigned to Caddo Mills ISD as a police officer. I also bring experience as a Do I keep going? Yeah. Okay. I also have experience as a realtor and property manager. This gives me hands-on experience and knowledge as to some of the cases that JPs often see in their courts. I believe that I bring the real world experience to the justice of the peace. This is not just. It's fine. Yes, that's it.
That's somebody down there. Ready? Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. There we go. Oh, just take it off the back. Take it. Yeah.
Just yeah.
That's okay. Thank you. Thank you. Just put that on my way. You got the big. When you're ready. Under pressure. All right. Good evening. My name is David Minton. I'm running for Hunt County Justice of the Peace because I believe in court should run or be fair, efficient, and grounded in common sense. The Justice of the Peace Court is often the first and sometimes the only place where people interact with the justice system. That means every person who walks through the doors to be treated with respect, patience, dignity, no matter who they are or where they come from. As Justice of the Peace, my priorities are simple. Follow the law, respect the Constitution, and serve the people of Hunt County with integrity. I believe the court should run efficiently, communicate clearly, and work to resolve cases promptly, because justice delayed is justice denied. Thank you.
Okay, pick up your paddles. You're going to do some quick lightning round, answer with yes, no. Have you ever been a defendant or respondent in a criminal or civil case? Okay, those of you who answer yes.
No, sorry.
Oh. Okay.
Sorry, my bad.
Okay. Mr. Minton, would you like to give anything,
About the civil case?
the case you were involved in, that would
Yes, sure.
address any concerns people might have?
Sure. You got me on? Yeah. Yes, no. Test 1, 2.
Believe it or not, we tested all of this early today and had no problems. So the gremlins only come to the real event. Yeah. Okay.
Test. Okay. My civil case is owning a business for 26 years. I've had people not pay their bills with me, and I had to take them to court to get my money.
Okay.
So it's pretty simple.
Okay. Have you ever filed for bankruptcy? Would you like to answer, to say anything or not, Mr. Smith?
Sure. While in real estate a time back, 2008, 2009, we ran into the Fannie Mae situation, and I lost some homes during that time. And so at that point, I had to start over.
Okay. Yeah, and you don't need to look at me when you answer. I know I'm asking you the questions, but they're the ones that you want to talk with. So, okay. Are you current in your tax payments? Have you ever voted in a Democrat primary? How many Republican primaries have you voted in? This isn't a paddle. Just give a one-word answer.
A number of them.
Just guess a number. We aren't going to 15. Okay.
20?
10, 15.
Okay, so y'all are lifetime
Yes.
voters in the Republican primary. Okay. Now, back to candidate Mr. Smith. What principle or criteria would you use in your decisions as you serve your constituents?
I would just do everything I could to be the best justice of the peace that I could be for the people and that are here in Hunt County, Greenville, Lone Oak, Cattle Mills, all of us. Make sure that the laws are followed and the people are heard.
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
What principle or criteria would you use in your decisions as you serve your constituents?
I think that my law enforcement career would help guide me. I have a knowledge in law. I have some deep understanding with real estate and property management. And I think that my faith guides my decisions, although law is my decision, my rulings would be based on law. But I do say that my background would be what I would depend on.
All right. Me. The law is great. I think as you come as justice of the peace, you have a job to do. And it's cut and dry pretty much when you get in office. The law would be what I have to follow. My main focus would be working with the kids to help them not get in trouble when they are in trouble. So I really care about the kids.
Okay, we'll now do closing statements they have drawn. Ms. Woodlee will speak first, Mr. Smith, and then Mr. Minton.
Justice of the peace matters most at the local level because it affects families' lives every day. It may be the first or only experience that people get to see the justice side of the system. Through my 20 years of law enforcement career, I made real-time decisions under pressure with real consequences. I've relied on facts, followed the law, and treated everyone with respect and fairness. Serving specifically in school-based law enforcement, I've worked with families across this county, and that's given me a deep understanding of some of the things that this county needs. I think that the juveniles were lacking some mentorship programs. I would like to work on building those up. In my work with real estate and property management, I've seen firsthand how civil issues and landlord-tenant disputes affects families and the property owners. Hunt County deserves a justice of the peace who understands not only the laws, but the people that they're working for. And I think that my experience is unique in that sense, and that I can bring that to the bench. My faith provides a strong moral foundation and guides my commitment to integrity and accountability. But law, like I said, will be what guides my rulings. This is not about earning a title for me. This is about a responsibility and a continued service. And I'm ready to bring my real world experience to this bench. I would be honored to have your support and your vote. Oh, there's more. Yeah, two more.
While working in courtrooms and learning the legal system, I feel like I've learned a ton of things that would bring me to where I need to be as a justice of the peace. I've worked theft cases all the way to murder and capital murder cases. I've been involved with both sides of the courtroom. I've worked defense mostly, but I've also done prosecution, and so I know that both sides need to be heard. I always want to see that the laws are followed and the people are heard on each and every case. My family's from Hunt County, have been here for years. I was raised in Hunt County, and it means something to me. I'm here to do the best I can, and if I'm chosen to be your justice of the peace, I'll do everything I can to be the best justice of the peace I can for the people of Greenville, Lone Oak, Cattle Mills, and all of Hunt County. Thank you.
Okay. Oh gosh. Well, I started this journey 8 months ago, and it started off just as I wanted to run, and then I think God led some people into my life, and I've started working with some JPs in Rockwall County and also in Hunt County, and they've guided me and helped me making these decisions to help me do what I'm doing. I really, as I've been a business owner for 26 years and doing a lot of stuff with the schools, I see the youth struggling, very struggling, and I believe they need a lot of help. And with me and my knowledge with the schools, I think I can do a great job helping the youth, and that's going to be our future coming up. Thank you. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, we can just move this around. I'm going to see if I can get. I'll work on this. Y'all just gonna have to share this one, I'm afraid. No problem. Okay.
Okay, we're going to do an opening statement, and Mr. Nicols, you will be first on that.
Hello, everybody. First and foremost, this is beautiful. Seeing this many people here with this kind of weather to show the support that you have for the community is amazing. So I just want to say thank you for coming out. I want to give a brief personal introduction. My name is Zach Nicols, and I'm running for Hunt County Commissioner at Precinct 1. A little bit about my family background. I'm a sixth-generation Hunt County resident and the second generation here with my wife, Chandler, and two beautiful children. A little bit about my work experience. I've worked for my father's concrete company for 3 years. I managed at Aldi for 3 years, and I currently operate and own a gym that I've done for the last 10 years. So I'm a personal trainer as well as my wife, and we have an umbrella of independent contractor trainers that work under us as well. A little bit about my core message and objective is a campaign focused on change in a broken system. A commitment to transparency and advocacy for Hunt County residents year-round and not just during campaign season. My goals are to lower and maintain property taxes, improve roadways and infrastructure, and to accommodate the current growth that is here and the future growth that is to come. And always to ensure the current taxpayers and citizens are properly taken care of. Also, emergency services enhancement, making sure that we are adequately equipped to the highest standard to guarantee our safety and to guarantee our community and their safety. Thank you for your time.
It's the, yeah, you just can hold, you can put it on its stand if you want.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank y'all for being here. My name's Darren Money, also known as Peanut. I've been in Hunt County all my life. My family's been here since 1870. I have no idea how many generations it was. I've heard 6, 7. I have no idea. Is that better? Y'all feel better now? I've been employed at Freedom Ford since it was Greenville Ford back then, since 1989. I've worked in every aspect of the business. The past 13 years, I've been the body shop manager. I have extensive knowledge of the workings of budgets, of how money can move from line to line, and how important it is that it's in the correct place. I believe that the county is a business and it needs to be run like a business. With that, I plan on and try, even as I'm doing now, we're trying to do things to cut the budget where you're saving money without cutting people. Nobody wants to cut people, but there's a lot of waste in government. We're trying to identify the waste. That's what I want to do as county commissioner.
Okay, this is the first question. Besides managing infrastructure, maintenance, and repairs, the county commissioners must vote to approve the budget for the county. There's a built-in tension between the desires of those wanting improved services and the desires of those who want to lower the taxes. What principles would you use when evaluating the proposed Hunt County tax rate?
I'm against pointless tax increases. I do understand though that we have infrastructure needs that need to be addressed, and looking into things as far as unit system and hybrid systems that goes in with the roadway. It is a lot of up cost, and I can't sit here and lie to you and say that that wouldn't affect your taxes. But if you're approaching it in a way of you're looking at 20, 30-year plan instead of trying to do it overnight, it's very possible. As well as, my opponent just said, as far as, cutting the budget, making adjustments and looking to see where there's inflation in the budget, if there's land that we're sitting on, equipment that we're sitting on, things that we can better adjust and serve the community. So with that being said, I am about keeping the tax rate low. I live here in Hunt County with you guys. I'm you guys' neighbor. I own a personal training gym. I pay property taxes. I know that's a hassle at the end of the year to have on your plate and to have to accumulate for. And I know that, cost since COVID is only going up, and it's not going back. So the truth of the matter is we need a plan. I'm not saying that's going to happen overnight, but the system is cracked, and we need to break it and put it together and put it back in the right direction. If we don't get on top of a plan right now for long-term growth, we will be in trouble. We will be like Princeton and some of these other surrounding counties. So I think that we have the right people here to get it done, and we just need to utilize each other and get it done. So.
Okay, same question. Would you like me to repeat
Yes,
it?
please.
Okay. Besides managing the infrastructure, maintenance, and repairs, the county commissioners must vote to approve the budget for the county. There is a built-in tension between the desires of those who want improved services and the desires of those who want to lower the taxes. What principles would you use when evaluating the proposed Hunt County tax rate?
Taxes are complicated. Nobody likes them. I'm a taxpayer. I hate paying taxes. I pay $9,000 a year. Nobody likes it. But taxes are a necessity to make the government run. With that, you have to break the taxes down. Your tax bill has a minimum of 3, possibly 4 breaks. 3 of those, the county can't do anything about. The hospital, the city, and the fire department. You can't do anything about them. You get a bill. So that leaves you with 1. You have to take the money, figure out how you can divide it up, and be careful. You just got to make sure that everyone that turns in a budget to the commissioner's court is using their budget wisely. So with that, I guess it would be making sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to do.
Okay, second question. Since county commissioners approve all subdivision plans, how would you balance the needs of existing residents with the demands of new construction and new growth?
I think it goes back to the last question, is having a plan. And just as the same situation, you have so many Hunt County residents here in one room, it's getting the people together and listening to the people that elect us and put us in this position in the first place. They also have a voice too. So it is very important that we take care of the current residents that we have here, that we make sure we're maximizing what we can do for them currently. With that being said, there is growth coming, and it does need to be carefully considered how you go about that. People need to be involved. It doesn't need to be a situation where you go in a back room and you talk about it and then you read about it in the newspaper. Something's already being happened that might not be in the best interest of the community in itself. So with that being said, I think everything comes down to having a plan. We need to be in a situation, 20-year plan, 30-year plan, to where at the end of each year, we're actually working towards something and we're not just okay with getting by. Because at the end of the day, I think a lot of us can agree that we just been getting by, but with no real improvements. And the truth of the matter is our county is probably 15 to 30 years scheduled. And so if we don't get in front of that quick and soon, As I said earlier, the cost is only going up, and it'll be detrimental if we don't on that ASAP. So, thank you.
Okay. Since county commissioners approve all subdivision plans, how would you balance the needs of the existing residents with the demands of new construction and new growth?
That's a tough one. Precinct 1 is 264 miles of road. 47 miles of those are dirt, 122 are rock, 91 are oil sand, and 2.6 are seal coat. With that, 90% of the roads are too narrow to begin with. To expand those roads will cost a ton of money. It is a very delicate situation, and it's going to take planning, and it's going to take time and money. To do that, I've got 2 roads that we're looking at right now that we're going to try to grind and spread out and see how it works and how effective it is and the cost effectiveness to calculate a long-term goal. So I'll have a better answer as soon as I get those roads done.
Okay. The next questions are the rapid response. And so you'll use your paddle to answer these. Okay. First question. Do you agree that county roads and bridge maintenance should be a top priority? Do you support additional funding for the rural fire protection services? Do you support reviewing county employment and benefit policies to control cost? Do you support advocacy for state and federal grants to fund the county infrastructure projects? And lastly, do you support a county policy to require a performance metrics for county contracts? Okay, now we will do the closing statements, and Mr. Money is first on this.
You ready? As the interim commissioner I've been, I've learned a lot about government. I've learned a lot that you can't change. You know, in private business, you can change almost anything. You can walk in and set new policies and change the entire course of the world in just a few minutes. In government, you can't. The policy that you want to put in place or something you think is going to work great in private business is illegal, number one, in government. That was very shocking. But that's the way it is. So with that, we have to try as a court, not as one person, as a court, to come together to find ways to bring efficiency to Hunt County. We waste money. Government wastes money all the time. Everyone knows it. The only way to stop it is for everyone to get together and search through every line item and try to delete what you can without cutting people. Cutting people is the last thing you want to do. But we have too much money being spent at the government. Government, it's just like your checkbook. If you run your checkbook down to $0 every day and you have nothing saved up and you have an emergency, you're in trouble. That's where we're headed. And that's what I want to change. With that, I ask for your vote as Hunt County Commissioner. Thank you.
I just want to reinforce some of my key messages and core values as far as, lowering property taxes, improving infrastructure, and supporting community initiatives by bringing transparency. I think that it's way too hard. You have to go through way too many hoops to get public information. I understand that there is a level of, when it comes to legalities and stuff, that there's information that the public can't know, and I accept that. But the hoops that you have to go through to stay informed are just too hard. It's hard for me to think that there's this many people in this room that are here to support all these candidates. You care about your community. You are all taxpayers. There should be no secrets about what's going on with your money. You shouldn't read about it in the paper. And let's be honest, the way that we receive news nowadays is different. It's not a write-up in the Herald Banner anymore. And most of these big news outlets aren't even putting it out on social media. And then we find a story and we're trying to figure out, who made these decisions. So transparency is a huge thing for me, and it's something that's important. And my first 90 days if elected into office, I have a plan that I want to hold a standard to myself, and that's review the Precinct 1 budget line by line to make sure that and look for any areas of improvement. Number 2 is to learn the budget preparation and approval of procedures. Number 3 is to meet all of the Precinct 1 organization personnel. And 4 is to conduct an assessment of Precinct 1 performance metrics, rural roads, buildings, bridges, and rural fire department services, and all emergency services, and even city streets, to make sure that they are up to the highest standard. And as always, conduct empathetic listening tours to Precinct 1 constituents. With that being said, I know there's not a lot of time up here. My phone number is public. You can get it in the pamphlet back there as well. There may have been a question that I didn't get to answer tonight that's on your heart. Please feel free to reach out to me. God bless. Thank you guys for coming.
At law race, Mr. Renshaw is going to open, including in his opening statement, the qualifications that he believes equips him to serve effectively as judge in county court at law.
Good evening. I'm a proud third-generation Hunt County resident. My grandfather and father were born and raised in Hunt County, and my wife, Christy, and I are raising our family of 3 children here. My youngest child, Deborah Marie, is a 4th grader in middle school. My middle child, Luke, is in 6th grade, both attending Greenville Christian School, where my wife teaches 2nd grade. My oldest child, Justin, is working on a degree at East Texas University in Commerce, where I guess it's Texas A&M now, where I went to college and where my father went to college. After graduating college, I continued my education at St. Mary's University School of Law in San Antonio, graduating in 1992 with a Juris Doctorate degree. And I began practicing law in Hunt County on January 2nd of 1993 in the old Centennial Savings and Loan Building right next door, where I still practice today. I've served the residents of Hunt County by providing legal services and counsel at the same location for 33 consecutive years. During that time, it's been my privilege to represent and help over 7,000 people and businesses navigate personal, business, family, and other legal situations. In my 33 years of practice, I've represented people in family law cases, CPS cases, juvenile cases, probate, guardianship, contract disputes, criminal defense, and I've done criminal prosecution and handled all types of civil litigation. Each of those areas of law. Thank you.
Testing. Okay. Good evening. My name is Abby Kweller Sullivan. I have been a licensed attorney for nearly 15 years. Out of those, I bring almost 5 years of trusted experience on the bench. I stepped up because our rule of law requires a judge who is prepared, fair, and grounded in integrity. I don't just believe in judicial service. I live it. I have looked both sides in the eye, made the tough decisions, and I have earned the trust of this community. And I am ready on day one to bring that integrity, preparation, and common sense to this bench. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to now have a lightning round, so get your yes/no paddles ready. Have you ever been a defendant or respondent in a criminal or civil case? Okay, so Mr. Renshaw, would you like to provide some additional information the voters might be interested in?
Well, yes, if you check my driving record, you'll find some stuff in the past 30 years that has caused my insurance to go up because my foot's a little heavy from time to time.
Okay.
I have received 2 different Class C traffic tickets, and the most recent, I was 18 years old, but those are criminal tickets, and that is where I was the only defendant in a criminal case. Thank you.
Have you ever filed for bankruptcy? Are you current on your taxes? Have you ever voted in a Democrat primary? Okay, now this is just instant answer. We'll start with Ms. Sullivan. How many times have you voted in a Republican primary? And you can give us just an idea.
It would be a calculation of since I was 18 years old and I am currently 39, and you would have to take 39 minus 18, and it would be any Republican primary available to me in between those years.
Okay.
Thank you.
I first voted when I was turned 18. I voted for Ronald Reagan for president. I have voted in every Republican primary since except 2, one when I was in law school and one when my father was ill.
Okay. Okay, now, Mr. Renshaw, what is your judicial philosophy regarding punishment versus rehabilitation in juvenile cases and adult misdemeanor cases?
Well, in adult cases, you have a range of punishment for a reason. If you, let's say you have a college kid who's never been in trouble and they commit an offense, you're not going to punish them the same way you would punish a 40 or 50-year-old who's before the court for the 4th or 5th time in their lifetime committing the same offense. You know, they didn't learn anything. They're going to get a punishment that's further up on the scale. The most important thing about County Court 1 is all the juveniles come through that court. And when you're talking about juveniles, rehabilitation is the key. In felony court, there's not a lot you can do for the adults. You know, if they've been in prison 2 or 3 times, they've got to get straight with God and themselves and work it out. There's not a lot the court system can do. But for the juveniles, there are a lot of programs available to these juveniles. We've got boot camp, we've got counseling, we've got lots of programs that we can force them to go through if they're on probation. And you can actually make a difference in the life of a child. You can get them back on track, keep them out of the adult system, and that saves the taxpayers money, and that benefits society because now we have somebody who's not a career criminal. They're on track and they're being productive.
Would you like me to repeat the question for you?
Sure, thank you.
What is your judicial philosophy regarding punishment versus rehabilitation in juvenile cases and adult misdemeanor cases?
Well, I think my philosophy would be a case-by-case analysis. I think that to the degree you can, each case can have circumstances that would warrant a different ruling. For instance, the nature of the cause, the crime, or whether it's a civil matter such as truancies. And I would ultimately want to balance both. I think it's important. I think that depending on what we're looking at, we're going to see what's causing it and see what would reach the goal, which is for it to not happen again. Thank you.
Okay, this question will go first to Ms. Sullivan. The judge of county court at law is a member of some county boards. Will you attend those board meetings, and what changes would you like to see made through these boards, if any?
I would absolutely attend these meetings. Yes. In my history as a professional, I have been a attorney for many boards. I have attended many boards as counsel, general counsel, and I know how important and crucial it is for not just a quorum to be met, but for each member to be involved, aware, and that be the basis for the decisions made at those meetings. And so, yes, I would find myself to be an integral part, and what I would bring forth would depend on what I collect as far as the information during each of those meetings. Thank you.
Would you repeat the question?
The judge of county court at law is a member of some county boards. Will you attend the meetings, and what changes would you like to see made through these boards?
I will absolutely attend all the meetings. The most important board is, again, the juvenile board. That's the main reason why I'm running for this office, is because the juveniles go through there. No juveniles go through Court 2. If it was a Court 2 that was open, I might or might not be running for that. But Court 1, the juveniles are the most important. So I would make sure that any opportunities, any new programs, any funding that we can get at the state or federal level to help with those programs are fully explored, because I want to have a full slate of programs that we can put the children through to try to rehabilitate and keep them out of the adult system. I know there's a lot of programs right now. Some of those are available all the time. Some of them are not, because of funding, some because the program's not big enough. So on the programs that really work, where we need more beds or seats or availability, I would hope that we could explore funding options to try to make those resources available to more juveniles that are in need.
Okay, now we'll have closing statements, beginning with Mr. Renshaw.
Y'all, in order to get on the ballot, the judicial ballot, everybody had to fill out a form and sign it under oath. In that document, my opponent stated she was licensed in the state of Oklahoma, and she listed her Oklahoma bar number. But when I put that number in the Oklahoma bar member verification search page, you find an attorney who is in good standing, but it's not candidate Sullivan, it's another attorney. After discovering that she put somebody else's Oklahoma bar number on her application, I did further research and discovered, in my opinion, why I think she wouldn't want to put her Oklahoma bar number on the application. In June of 24, the Oklahoma Supreme Court issued an order suspending my opponent from membership in the Oklahoma Bar Association and prohibiting her from practice of law in Oklahoma. That order was signed by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, with all justices concurring, and was marked for publication. In June of 25, the Oklahoma Supreme Court issued another order striking my opponent from the record and rolls of attorneys. That order was also signed by the Chief Justice, with all other justices concurring, and was marked for publication. The Oklahoma rules governing disciplinary proceedings defines a suspension as a disciplinary action. On the application to be placed on the ballot, my opponent swore under oath, quote, "I have not had a public disciplinary sanction imposed on me by the State Bar of Texas or by an entity in another state responsible for attorney discipline in that state." Does that sound like a true statement to you? I am a believer, and I believe all things can be achieved through Jesus Christ. I was blessed growing up with parents who are believers, and they stressed importance of family values, strong work ethic, integrity, and honesty. I'm the best candidate for this job, not only because of my 33 years experience in the County Court at Law 1, but because of my values. I'm asking for your vote, and I have copies of all these documents on my table. Please help yourself.
Ms. Sullivan.
Waiting for my time. Is that going? Okay. Well, to provide a quick response, because I certainly would have never spent my own time to talk about anything else but my own self. So you would have the information needed and valuable to selecting your candidate. But I think in essence, we've seen all of that. One, administrative elected lapse in a license is not disciplinary. That's it. I did no longer practice in Oklahoma. I elected an exemption, and a suspension is always ordered and struck for your name pursuant to that same exact process. It is not disciplinary. Those actions result from fraud, malfeasance, clandestine Machiavellian schemes, not the type I would commit, not the type on my public record, the type on my opponent's public record, and I apologize because now I will give you what I intended you to hear. A courtroom should never be about power. It should be about fairness, dignity, and getting it right every time for every case. This is how I have served, and this is how I will continue to serve. I have spent my career inside real courtrooms, listening carefully, preparing thoroughly, and making decisions that affect real lives. Because when someone walks into a courtroom, they are not looking for power, they are looking for justice, they are looking to be heard, and they are looking for a judge who is ready and to not spend what matters to y'all on a defense instead of telling you why he is great. Think about that. And I trust you to do the right thing. Thank you.
All right, this is the county judge race, and Mr. Hutchins, you will be first with your opening statement.
Thank you. There's a lot more people from this view than the front row facing forward. But it's good to be with each of you. I'm Mark Hutchins, and I'm running for county judge because I love this county, and I know we can do better. My wife and I are raising our family right here in Hunt County, where my family has lived for 5 generations. This is home. It's where our kids go to school, where we worship, where we work, and where we've invested for the long haul. Like you, we care about safe communities, strong families, and a county government that respects the people who pay the bills. For the past 5 years, I've served as commissioner for Precinct 1. In that capacity, I've seen the good work our employees do, but I've also seen the growing pressures we face as we grow, the systems that need to be fixed. I've seen the demands on our roads, our public safety, and on your tax dollars. With this experience, as well as my significant background in the legal field, construction, and small business ownership, I'm well prepared to hit the ground running as county judge to work for you. My approach is simple. Spend taxpayer money like the check is coming from your personal bank account. Be transparent about how decisions are made, and always put the people of Hunt County first. That means demanding accountability, insisting on long-term planning instead of short-term fixes, and never forgetting that government exists to serve you, not itself. As commissioner, I stood for fiscal responsibility. Thank you.
Mr. Reel, your opening statement.
Good evening. I'm Teddy Reel, and I'm a candidate for Hunt County Judge. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I grew up in Commerce and raising my family there. I have 3 grown children and 3 grandchildren. I married my high school sweetheart. We've been married for 41 years. I retired from L3 in June of 21 after nearly 40 years of working out there. Most of my career was in project management, basically managing government contracts, i.e. your tax dollars, for the last 40 years. I was responsible for all the communication systems on Air Force One, the two 747s he's flying now, the two that are being built in San Antonio, and also the 30-something executive aircraft. When I retired, the last three positions that I had were director, senior director, and general manager over an organization, 65 people here locally, people at Hickam Air Force Base in Hawaii, people at Ramstein Air Force Base in Germany, and of course, 20-something people at Andrews Air Force Base. It was a great career. I enjoyed it immensely. I tell everybody that the farther I get away from my retirement date, the better I remember my career. It's a lot softer as I'm getting older. I had the first retirement ceremony after COVID. The first speaker at my retirement ceremony was the chief pilot for Air Force One. So I've enjoyed my time, and I look forward to serving you using my career and elected official capacity.
Okay, first question. When conflicts arise between commissioners or other county officials, what steps would you take to resolve them, ensuring transparency while keeping business moving forward? And this would be Mr. Hutchins.
Thank you. So, independent-minded people are not always going to agree. And you want to elect people to represent you who have strong beliefs and strong values. But you also want to elect people who are willing to work with others to try and work through those. But at the end of the day, if you're unable to come to a point of agreement, you should be willing to have a vote if that's what the occasion calls for, and then go about have a vote. The decision will be made, and then you move on with your life. But the priority should first be to try and work through, and really think of it as an opportunity for iron sharpening. I think what you learn quickly in government, particularly when you work with a lot of other departments, and for those who aren't familiar with the structure of county government, there are a lot of different elected departmental heads that the Commissioners Court works with closely. What you learn quickly is that everybody has their own area of expertise and their own skills and knowledge they bring to the table. So I think any productive conversation needs to begin with a humility to understand that they are also elected representatives of the people, and that they also have a knowledge base and a skill set that you may not have. So the first thing you do is you seek to learn, and then you seek to come to a point of agreement and see if you can get your values to align in a way that is an agreement on the decision. But if you can't agree, respectfully disagree, have a vote, and go about your day.
Would you like me to repeat the question?
Please, if you would.
Okay. When conflicts arise between commissioners or other county officials, what steps would you take to resolve them, ensuring transparency while keeping business moving forward?
I believe that I would start with interviewing each of those individuals that had created the conflict and determining the basis for that conflict. There's rules of etiquette that you would follow as you're moving through conflict resolution. I would follow those rules. I would bring the folks together after interviewing each one of them and finding out what each one has to bring to the table. And now we sit down together and we start to negotiate and see where we can end up. We cannot afford to let the business lapse. The business is being paid for by our tax dollars. So it's very important that we maintain that time. I might even ask them to come in after hours, so that we're not taking work out of the day to resolve those conflicts.
Okay, second question. 3 years into your term as county judge, what specific results or measurable achievements would you point to in order to show that you have been effective as county judge? Mr. Reel, your answers first.
I think the number one result for me would be the budget. I have experience building budgets from the bottom up, holding the various departments accountable, providing an approval level at each level so that by the time the budget gets up to my level or the court's level, it's been approved by other management, other supervisors and things like that. So I think I would look back and see if we've improved the budget process, we're holding to the budget. It's not budget accountability, it's budget management. That's really what we're after. The accountability comes if you manage your budget.
Would you like me to repeat the question?
Please do.
Okay. 3 years into your term as county judge, what specific results or measurable achievements would you point to in order to show that you have been effective as county judge?
Well, I would definitely also start with the budget. That's part of the reason, a large part of the reason I decided to run for this office is to reform the budget process to make it more effective and transparent and understandable to the people so that they can be brought into it and understand how their government is being conducted and what it is accomplishing for them. So I would certainly want to look at the budget process and in a response to your question. I would also want to make sure that as we are moving forward and planning, that we have benchmarks in all of our planning, whether specifically for capital and infrastructure improvement plans. So we need to have those in place. That's probably a multi-year process to get all of those done thoroughly, but I think we want to be well underway and establish early on in the process metrics for where we want to be. I also would want to establish goals for how we're going to make the court more transparent, to invite the citizens into the process and help them understand what's going on. If you go to my website, electmarkhutchins.com, I have about 7 day one priorities that will immediately be something I work on from day one. And so all of those are there for the public to see to ensure that my priorities align with your priorities as I'm coming into the office.
Thank you. Okay, the next questions are the rapid response questions, so you'll be using your paddles. Okay, do you support maintaining or lowering the current county property tax rate?
Ask the question again.
Okay, do you support maintaining or lowering the current county property tax rate? Do you support increasing funding for rural road and bridge maintenance? Do you support stronger oversight of county contracts and spending? Do you agree that Hunt County should pursue economic development incentives to attract new businesses to the county?
Is there a depends answer on this?
And lastly, would you support an effort to make Hunt County a sanctuary county for the unborn and pass resolutions to support that effort? Okay. And now we will do closing statements, and Mr. Reel is first.
In general, people don't trust government. People trust people. Trust is earned over time, and most of the time, trust is earned through communication. Communication is one of my strengths. I plan to set aside 1 day a quarter as an open house for people to call me or come see me and discuss whatever topic they would like. I will say this, though. Through this campaign process, I've met some wonderful people and, to be honest, made some friends for life. I also have a list of goals and priorities, but none of them will be successful without the teamwork to move the county forward. Teamwork for the people of Hunt County, the commissioners, and the department heads. Teamwork is one of my strengths. If my priorities are not shared by others, I'm an island. I had a successful career of pulling together different groups of people to overcome challenges, put plans in place, and to meet goals. I can do that here. I'm not a politician. I don't want a career in politics, although some would say, having survived nearly 40 years at L3, you must know politics. I'm a businessman with a successful track record, having managed budgets greater than $5 million. I've got a record of government contract success, your tax dollars well spent. If elected, I'm anxious to put my experience as a career and elected official to work on the budget process and many other challenges. I have no personal agenda. I have no one else's agenda, which is why I think I can work well with the court. I am my own person. My goal is to increase communication, earn your trust, and do what's right for you, Hunt County. Please let me put my experience to work for you, Hunt County. Thank you.
My number is 903-456-7088. And during my time in office, I've always spread that number around because I don't want to just say that I am for communication. I want to be maximally available to my constituents. And hundreds of my Precinct 1 constituents can vouch for that ability to reach me and communicate with me. When I first ran, I also committed to be your voice, the voice of Precinct 1 and now Hunt County. And today I reaffirm that commitment and will work to restore trust in government. I believe my opponent is right. We aren't very well trusted, nor should we be, because we haven't earned it. You should never have to wonder whether your county judge listens to you or whether he values and respects you. I believe people deserve to know what their county government is doing and why. And that should be proactively and transparently communicated to the public without pressure or demands using modern tools and methods of communication. On day one as your county judge, my focus will be clear. We will bring fiscal discipline back to county spending with budgets built on transparency and accountability. We will begin developing a real long-range infrastructure plan so we stop reacting to growth and start preparing for it. We will assess our departments and operations to ensure they provide the best professional services possible. And we will make sure supporting our law enforcement and emergency services are our high priority. That's how we respect taxpayers and how to build a government that works for you. If you want a steady hand, proven experience, and leadership grounded in common sense and conservative values with a backbone, I would be honored to receive your support and vote. Thank you, and God bless Hunt County.
We will now have a 10-minute intermission. We'll see you back at 8:05. Okay, now we have our candidates for district court. Each is going to make an opening statement and include in that opening statement a description of the qualifications that equip you to serve effectively as judge in the county, in the district court. We're going to start with Ms. Perrone.
Thank you. Good evening, and thank you all so much for coming. I agree with what Ms. Money told us when we got started this evening, which is that one of the most important things we can do as voters is educate ourselves about these races and about the candidates in these races. And you guys have certainly taken one of the first steps in doing so by being here tonight. And so thank you very much for coming and for showing the support to the candidates who have chosen to enter these various races. My name is Christina Perrone, and I've been an attorney for 19 years. I've had a law firm here in Hunt County, right in downtown Greenville, for the last 10 years. Immediately prior to that, I served as a prosecutor for Child Protective Services cases. And before that, I worked for a commercial litigation law firm in Dallas, where we handled everything from business disputes to construction law and just about anything you could think of in between, like personal injury, contracts, and things like that. I've been married to my wonderful husband, Sam. You might have seen him running around here with my face all over his shirt for what will be 20 years this year. He's a law enforcement officer, where he's been a police officer for the last 27 years. He and I moved to Roy City in 2007, and we've adopted all of our children. I am the only candidate in this race that serves as a court-appointed amicus attorney, protecting the best interests of children, which is largely what the district court in Hunt County does. I'm prepared for this bench because I'm proven in this courtroom, and I look forward to serving as the district court judge and serving all of you in Hunt County. Thank you.
Thank you and good evening. My name is Katherine Ferguson. I'm a proud Hunt County native. I was born here in Greenville. My parents were John Ferguson and Carol Ferguson, who you might remember, who was a longtime columnist for the Greenville Herald-Banner. I'm a 1984 graduate of Greenville High School. I graduated in 1988 from Texas A&M University, and in 1991 I got my law degree cum laude from Texas Tech University. I began my practice in Dallas working in the federal courts doing bankruptcy law. And in bankruptcy law, you encounter everything possible in civil, contracts, fraud, you name it. I returned to my hometown to practice law in 1998, and since I've been here, I've had the honor of representing thousands of citizens in family law, criminal law, and general civil litigation disputes. I'm especially proud of my work representing children who have been the subject of abuse or neglect in CPS cases. I've served as an adjunct professor of law at Texas Wesleyan, now Texas A&M University School of Law, as well as a visiting professor of law at Marie Curie Slodowska University in Lublin, Poland. The 196th District Court is a court of general jurisdiction, which hears civil, criminal, and family law. I am the only candidate in this race that is currently representing clients in all of those cases. For new cases begun in Hunt County in 2025, 36% in the district court were civil, 33% were family, and thank you.
Good evening. I want to thank the GOP Club for having us here. My name is Keith Willeford, and I'm a Hunt County resident, native of Hunt County. My grandparents had a grocery store down here on the corner of Gordon and Jordan back in 1955 through 1985. Porter endorsed Knox. My grandfather, Porter, graduated from Caddo Mills back in 1943, I believe. My mother graduated from Greenville in 1961. I graduated from Celeste and then went to Austin College, where I was All-American football player at Austin College, and I went on to Texas Tech Law School and got my degree. After a short stint in civil litigation, I came back to work for the county as a assistant county attorney. I was assistant DA, and I was the county attorney for Hunt County. I prosecuted for over 10 years here in Hunt County, from everything from as little as a traffic ticket to capital murder. I've actually tried a capital murder to its completion. The person finally was executed by the state of Texas, and I've also defended a capital murder case. I'm the only candidate that has any prosecuting experience at all. And I've also represented CPS for over 5 years, where I prosecuted family CPS cases, and I've also defended CPS cases. I've been an ad litem. I've handled all civil litigation. I've handled divorces for over 15 years. At some point in time, I started and I chose to become board certified in criminal law, which is less than 1% of the lawyers in the state of Texas to be board certified. I've had over 31 years of practicing law, and I've been in that courtroom every day. Most of the jury trials are criminal.
Okay, we're going to begin with lightning round, so get your yes/no paddles. Have you ever been a defendant or responded in a criminal or civil case? Okay, well, let's start with Ms. Ferguson.
Well, in a criminal case for speeding tickets, traffic tickets, that sort of thing, and I haven't had that many, and I think my last ticket was 10, 12 years ago. One civil matter, when I was taking care of my mother, and in her final illness, I lost track of one account that I had that I owed money on that I was to pay, and I got sued on that. Once I realized that that was what it was, I paid the amount owed. The case was dismissed.
Okay, Mr. Willeford.
I've had my fair share of traffic violations, so you can look that up. That's public record. I've also been sued by a client before, and then I had that case dismissed in court.
Ms. Perrone.
Thank you. Yes, as I said in my opening statement, my husband and I adopted all of our children. So as an adoptive mom, when you file a petition, essentially, to adopt your children. So I've been a petitioner in a civil suit more than once. I also sued CPS in this county as a parent because I was asking for their help. My husband and I both were asking for their help. So we filed a lawsuit against CPS in this county seeking help and guidance in helping our children. I'm not going to go into detail about that. They're children. And I don't think it's appropriate to tell their stories. They're not my stories to tell. I've also had my fair share of traffic tickets, just like my opponents. But like I said, I'm also married to a law enforcement officer, so I do my very best. Not plead no contest to those and get them dismissed right away as quickly as I can, right? I can't think of any other off the top of my head where I've been involved in a criminal or a civil lawsuit other than those.
Okay. Have you ever filed for bankruptcy? Are you current on your taxes?
Depends.
Hey, would you like?
I believe I am. The IRS says I always owe money, so.
Oh.
You're doing something wrong, sir, because I get a refund.
Have you ever voted in a Democrat primary? Oh, yes, sir, Mr. Willeford.
Yes, back in
I was the elected county attorney as a Democrat in Hunt County. And after that, and the reason I ran as a Democrat is our U.S. rep, Ralph Hall, was a Democrat at that time, and I thought he was an excellent person. And he continued to stay in the Democratic Party throughout that term. I switched parties when I realized the Democratic Party in Texas was just, and nationwide, was going totally wrong way.
Okay, now this is just a one answer question, and it'll begin with Ms. Ferguson. How many times have you voted in the Republican primary?
However many times I've been eligible to. My first vote was when I was in 18, where I voted for Ronald Reagan for president, and I voted in every single Republican primary since that time.
Mr. Willeford.
Probably about 8 or 9, I believe. 8 or 9.
8 or 9, okay.
I would also say probably 8 or 9. I've only ever voted in Republican primaries, but I can't say I've hit every Republican primary since I've been eligible to vote.
Okay, beginning with Ms. Perrone. What is your judicial philosophy regarding punishment or rehabilitation in juvenile cases and adult misdemeanor cases?
Excellent question. I think there's been a lot of talk around social media throughout this campaign about my lack of experience in criminal law. And so I want to start by addressing that. The truth of the matter is I've never defended criminals, but in my experience as a family law attorney and as a commercial litigation attorney, I've certainly worked hand in hand with the criminal justice system. I work with the district attorneys and the county attorney's offices, the children's advocacy centers, child protective services investigators, and law enforcement investigators throughout this county. And I intend to be tough on crime. I'm married to a law enforcement officer who's been a veteran police officer for nearly 30 years. I am a president of a local nonprofit board that serves the families of fallen police officers. So again, I intend to be very tough on crime. I do believe that there is a balance between rehabilitation and sentences, and I believe that when the law allows for probation and for services to be offered to criminal defendants, we should take advantage of that being allowed. That doesn't necessarily mean that we let criminals walk free or that we don't hold them accountable and responsible for the decisions that they have made. Criminals need to be held accountable. It's what keeps our community safe, and it's what keeps our streets safer. And I intend to do just that for Hunt County if I'm elected to serve as your district court judge, because it's what our county needs and it's what each of us deserve. Thank you.
Ms. Ferguson.
Go ahead and repeat it again.
What is your judicial philosophy regarding punishment versus rehabilitation in juvenile cases and adult misdemeanor cases?
Well, the district court doesn't hear adult misdemeanor cases. The district court hears
felony cases.
Here's felony cases, which range from state jail felonies all the way up to capital murder cases where they're trying to put someone to death. I have defended capital murder cases several times, and I've actually been through a full jury trial where a death penalty was sought against my client. As far as the philosophy for punishment, our legislature is who decides what the ranges of punishment are for specific crimes. And so the judge is then given leeway and discretion based upon the facts of the case. Because if every crime was a one punishment fits all for a crime, you wouldn't need a judge. You could just plug in a crime into a computer and it would spit out a sentence. So judges have to listen to the facts of the case and try to work within the facts and the law to figure out the appropriate punishment. Yes, rehabilitation is a goal of our criminal justice system, but also retribution or punishment is as well, and it's the job of a district court judge to walk that fine line to figure out when it's retribution and when it's rehabilitation. And my experience in criminal law has well equipped me to listen and make those determinations and make those hard calls based on the facts. Thank you.
I believe that Ms. Ferguson's right, is it's felonies and not very many juveniles, because unless they're certified. And so I believe my experience of 31 going on 32 years practicing law now, and my 10 years prosecuting and 18 years being board certified in criminal law, that I can bring that to the bench to help have a fine balance between punishment and rehabilitation. Unfortunately, the system doesn't have the correct tools at times for us to provide those resources. We have some great drug treatment programs, but you have to almost be in the system for 10 years before you can get to that point. And so I don't think that the system should be for retribution. I think it should be for punishment and for rehabilitation. Most of the cases there are drug cases. Over half of those cases are drug cases in Hunt County. Over half of those drug cases, half of those are first-time offenders, people that have never been involved in the criminal justice system. And so if we can utilize those tools, rehabilitation, to try to keep those people out of our system so they don't come back, I think I'm the person that's equipped for that. I have the experience dealing with juveniles, dealing with family law matters, married, have kids, stepkids. I understand how to deal with children, my clients, and I think I'm the person that can bring that experience to the bench to do the job that needs to be done to find that right balance. I'm the only one that's prosecuted before.
In what areas, if any, do you believe that the court or its processes could be improved? How will you undertake to make those improvements, beginning with Ms. Ferguson?
Well, the courts are here to serve you as the people. We are employees, we are public servants, and we are here to serve the citizens of Hunt County. There have been backlogs in cases. Some of that is not the fault of the presiding judge, current presiding judge, because we had COVID come and that backed us up. And we could not have jury trials due to safety issues. But moving the docket as efficiently as possible to, if it requires starting court earlier than 9 in the morning and maybe staying later, then we work to do that, to work through whatever those issues are, to make sure that we as public servants who are your employee are working to be as efficient and effective as possible in your court, because the district court doesn't belong to the judge. The district court belongs to you as the citizens of Hunt County, and whoever you elect to serve as that judge is there to represent you and to be a responsible steward of the time and resources and money that the court has for making the cases heard and moving the cases. Thank you.
Ms. Perrone?
Yes, do you mind repeating the question one more time, please?
In what areas, if any, do you believe that the court or its processes could be improved? How will you undertake to make those improvements?
Thank you. Yes. So in preparation for today's forum, I pulled some statistics from the Office of Court Administration, the OCA we call it, and it tells us the different time lengths or periods that cases in various matters have been open. For example, in criminal cases, more than half of those cases have been open for less than 180 days. In contrast, when you look at civil law cases and family law cases, we have nearly 500 in each of those categories that have been open for either 3 months or less, and the same is true for 3 months or less in the family law cases. However, when we look at one statistic in family law that is concerning to me, we have over 400 cases that have been open for more than 18 months. And families that are looking for their cases to be resolved and waiting a year and a half to get that done feels like a lifetime. I do believe that that's an area where we could have some improvement. I'm certainly not criticizing Judge Bench. I'm just going on the numbers that are available. And in an effort to make those cases move quicker, I think to bring some efficiency to the courtroom, it might be time to implement some hearing time limits on matters like temporary orders and pretrial motions so that we can move some cases through our daily dockets a little bit faster in an effort to get more cases heard. And I think that will help to make the district court as efficient as it possibly can be so that each of the litigants who come to the courtroom get the time that they deserve, but they also leave time for the rest of the cases that need to be heard. Thank you.
Okay, now we'll make closing statements beginning.
Willeford didn't answer.
Here, let me answer.
So sorry.
That's okay. I'm used to it. No, I'm just kidding. No, and you don't need to repeat the question. The areas of improvement there, I would agree with Ms. Perrone that as far as limiting temporary time so that we can move more cases. Collin County has a pretty strict 20 minutes aside for temporary. Maybe that's too little a time, but letting people go all day on temporary orders when they're going to have a final hearing again months later. Some of those cases do take a long time when you have people that have estates that are millions of dollars and they're fighting over their kids and you got mental health issues and things like that. So some of those cases need to take longer. They just don't happen fast. You don't have two people that just agree. You got two people that loved each other that hate each other now. And so you got to figure out that it just doesn't happen that fast. Some of the areas that could be improved too would be to look at the budget. I'm the only candidate that's run a county budget before. I've been in charge of $500,000 budget at the county where I was responsible, never overspent, actually underspent, gave money back because I was looking at what was the best for the county. Also, the district judge is in charge of the court appointment payments and to scrutinize and look at those bills and look how much money is coming out. That's several $1 million of court appointed funds that go out every year. And I'm not saying that it's being done wrong, but I have that experience to scrutinize and look at those bills to make sure that we're getting the most for our money. And I'm the only candidate that has that experience that can do that. And that's why I'm asking for your vote.
Now for the closing. I'm so sorry. Okay, beginning with Mr. Willeford, you can go first.
As I told y'all before, I was born and raised here in Hunt County. I told you that my grandparents had a grocery store over here on corner of Gordon and Jordan. There's a fire station there now. And my uncle was the JP in Quinlan back in 1984, I believe it was. My grandfather graduated from Caddo. I graduated from Celeste. My mother, if anybody knew her, my mother was involved in the community. She was a nurse here in town. And so I've been invested in Hunt County my entire life. I'm from here. Other than going off to college and law school, I've been here my entire life. And I plan to stay here, win or lose. I'm still going to be here. You're stuck with me. Now, why do I want to be your district judge? Because I'm the only one that has the experience on both sides of the aisle. I've prosecuted for over 10 years, from traffic tickets to capital murder and everywhere in between. I've successfully prosecuted 2 capital murders, one to the death penalty and one that we did not seek the death penalty. And then I've prosecuted at least 4 or 5 other murder cases where I've received life sentences. And one was a weird 67-year sentence, but I don't understand that one. But anyway, and I'm the only person that's defended those cases too. I have protected children by sending child molesters to prison for life. I have represented people accused of that. And God forbid that you're that person that gets accused that didn't do it. And if you didn't, call me, because I'll represent you, because I'll represent the Constitution of Texas and the United States every day to make sure that your rights are protected. I don't make any bones about it. I don't have any conflict with representing people that are accused of something they didn't do. And I represent people that did things that they did. And my job is then to guide them through the system and help them out the best as I can. Most of my clients do go to prison. Most of my clients are held accountable. But when somebody comes to you and says, I didn't do this, then it's my job to defend their rights, and I don't make any qualms about it. As the district judge, I will ensure that both sides have a fair shot and that the rules are followed.
Ms. Perrone.
Thank you. Yes. 81% of the cases, according to the Office of Court Administration in the 196th District Court, are civil cases and family law cases. That means 19% of the cases in that court are criminal cases. And I bet if we took a poll in this room today and I asked you how many of you knew somebody who'd been divorced, knew somebody who'd had a child custody dispute, had been called in by the Attorney General's office to pay child support, every hand in this room would go up. Because the fact of the matter is the majority of the work that the 196th District Court does is work that affects real people. It affects real families. The decisions that are made in that courtroom change lives on a daily basis. It is important for the candidate who takes over this bench to be someone who is versed in experience, but experience that matters. When a district court hears a family law case, the paramount concern to that presiding judge is what is in that child's best interest. I'm the only candidate here appointed by these courts as an amicus attorney, which means that that attorney stands up in court and tells the judge what is necessary to protect that child's best interest. And because that's the kind of cases that are the majority of the docket in the 196th, it's important that that experience transition, not just from being prepared to be in the courtroom, but being prepared to be on the bench in that courtroom. I'm a Baylor Law graduate. Like I said, I own a business here in town. My children attend schools in Hunt County. While I haven't been here my whole life, my husband and I like to say we got here just as fast as we could. I'm committed to this county and to making this community great. And just like Mr. Willeford said, if I don't win this bench, I intend to go right back next to the county attorney's office, next to the county tax assessor collector's office, and continue running my law practice and protecting children and serving families. Because as an attorney, that's what I'm passionate about, and as your judge, that's what the court should be. Thank you.
Ms. Ferguson.
No, it's actually Mr. Willeford. I drew number 3.
You are number 3. He went.
No, I went first.
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I wasn't paying attention.
I'll go again.
It's fine. I'm sorry. As I said in my opening statement, I'm a native of Hunt County, and I grew up here, graduated from high school here. I started my law practice in Dallas, working in the federal courts. I'm licensed to practice in front of the U.S. Supreme Court, the Texas Court of, or the, U.S. District Court for the 5th District in New Orleans. I've also practiced in front of the Texas Supreme Court and the Court of Criminal Appeals. I've made law. I'm the only candidate here. I made law. I held the justice system here in Hunt County accountable by finding and holding the district attorney's office responsible for violating the constitutional rights of defendants by tape recording and listening to attorney-client phone calls from the jail. I believe I was the first attorney in Texas to stand up and fight that, and I'm the first attorney that got a judgment from a district court that said, yes, that is wrong, that violates the Constitution and violates defendants' rights. And it was upheld on appeal by one of the most conservative courts in the state, the 6th Court of Appeals in Texarkana. I do a lot of CPS work. I represent children. I have the ability to represent only children in CPS cases and protect their interests and help them to overcome the abuse and neglect that they have endured. The district court judge is not an entry-level position. It is not a train on the job, learn as you go. I am the only candidate up here that is currently practicing in every area heard by a court. And I think if you're going to stand up here to the taxpayers and say, put me in charge, you need to have practical experience in the areas that you're seeking to be put in charge in, especially if you're going to ask the taxpayer to pay your salary while they're at it. I ask for your support. I believe I'm the most qualified. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies.
Hey, good job. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Good job.
When we were scheduling this event, we communicated with all the candidates, and at that point in time, Mr. Newgent said he would be available this evening. We sent him that communication on January 5th. We sent it to all the candidates that said save the date. On January 16th, he informed us he had a conflict. So he is not here today, but we went ahead and the congressman did not know that till he got here tonight. We thought the best thing to do is we'll go ahead and ask the same questions we were going to ask. And I told Mr. Nugent, I said, you understand there will be no rebuttals. The congressman's going to be able to answer the questions and then we'll be finished except for the work around the tables this evening. Okay, so first you can make your opening statement.
Well, thank you, Mitzi, and thank you, everybody, for being here. This is a huge crowd, and I know in this crowd there are some people that probably do not know me and have not met me. So I represent the 3rd District. I've represented Hunt County for 3 years now. My history. My early days were in Fort Worth. After a few years out of the state of Texas, junior high and high school were in Amarillo. So I'm a Tascosa rebel out of Amarillo. I went off to West Point, met my wife there, Tracy, she's in the back. And we got married right after I graduated from West Point. I started in the Army as a 2nd lieutenant in the 82nd Airborne Division. Then I went to Special Forces, the Green Berets, commanded an A-team there, and a company later at Fort Bragg, back to the 82nd for my company time. For a total of 25 years in the Army. After my time in the Airborne and Special Forces, I was in the joint headquarters around the world, in the embassy in Cairo, the NATO military headquarters in Belgium, the European headquarters in Germany, the Pentagon for the deepest intelligence programs there are. And then after I retired, I got recalled to go to Afghanistan and into the Gulf for Iraq. So a total of 25 years active duty in the U.S. Army. I was then the county judge in Collin County. Yes, I'll get there.
I guess the only thing is he still has a clock. Okay. Okay. These will be easy questions for you, I think. Lightning round. Have you ever voted in a Democrat primary?
No.
How many times have you voted in the Republican primary?
I'm going to guess 15. When I was in the Army, my wife and I have like almost 30 addresses at where we've lived through our married life. So in some of those, I didn't vote because we were there for such a short period of time. I'm guessing 15.
Okay. Are you 100% pro-life?
Absolutely, and that means 100%.
Are there more than 2 genders?
No. These are easy questions.
For some people. Okay. Do you support the World Economic Forum?
Absolutely not.
Do you support counting non-citizens when defining congressional districts?
I don't think we ought to count non-citizens for voting or census or any other thing that belongs to the citizens of the United States.
I think that's acceptable since we don't have an opponent. So, okay. Do you support voter ID for all voters?
Absolutely. I think I was 6 days on the job in 23 when I filed a citizenship bill.
Do you support birthright citizenship for children of non-citizens?
I do not. That's more complicated than that question. I do not.
Do you support the action of the Secretary of War penalizing 6 former military officers for statements made concerning refusal to obey unconstitutional orders?
I do support that, the seditious statements.
Okay, now the questions that require a little more answers. Why have Republicans not made dramatic progress in reducing the federal government spending? How do we change that?
That is a very difficult question. I will tell you, Ronald Reagan had it right. The closest thing to eternal life on earth is a government program. The problem is every government program has a constituency. And whatever the constituency is, whatever the program is, they go to their elected officials and say, don't cut my program. That makes it very difficult because most of my colleagues are more interested in staying in office than they are cutting the federal budget. I've got more time.
Yeah. What's your plan to change that? Yeah.
We work hard on this, but I will tell you, we've got Republican, I'm not even going to talk about the Democrats, folks. I'm going to talk about the Republicans. We've got a lot of Republicans that are theoretically and philosophically conservative. It's operationally that they have trouble with. They can't make the votes to cut anything. You saw it in the last appropriation bills. We are crowing about having passed all 12 appropriations bills. My point is, at what cost? Because we didn't cut anything. There are some horrible programs in there, to include the National Endowment for Democracy. It's not left-leaning, it is left. So, yeah, this is a real issue. The national debt of $39 trillion, almost 39, is one of the existential threats to the republic.
What more can Congress as a whole or individual congressmen do to stop the fraud and abuse in federal funds and to advance criminal prosecutions as appropriate?
Well, criminal prosecutions belong to the executive branch, the Department of Justice. But we can do a lot because we hold the power of the purse. What you have seen in Minnesota is the tip of the iceberg. We saw it in LA when Dr. Oz was driving around and saw like 50 hospice businesses within a 4-block area. It's obviously fraud. We are just now starting to uncover the fraud, waste and abuse in the federal government. I suspect we have not a clue how large it is, and taxpayer dollars are going to it. So we're starting to peel it back. We're starting to use the power of the purse. The executive branch is leading the way, I'll admit, but Congress is stepping up finally to start acting on this, because it's the power of the purse. If a state won't cooperate, take their money. It's a broad statement, but that's the bottom line of how you do that, how you go about that. Because Congress, really the only power we have is investigation, oversight, and the power of the purse. You have to use the power of the purse because it's the one that people understand the most.
Okay, also, congressmen have a bully pulpit. How can you use the how could Republican congressmen use the bully pulpit more effectively to advance our agenda?
This is where social media comes in. Frankly, social media has become the public square, as most of you realize. And I will give an example based on a conversation with Senator Tuberville out of Alabama at the White House Christmas party. We have started the Sharia-Free America Caucus. We've already got 32 members that represent 18 states. That is a bully pulpit. We've also got 7 bills that we filed to rein it in, but that is a bully pulpit. When you form a caucus that grows to 32 members over basically a month, and we represent 18 states, that in and of itself is a bully pulpit. So it's the public square. If you follow my social media, you know that I am very vocal on several issues, and I try to focus a little bit, although we get off on lots of issues. But the debt and Sharia, I think, are the 2 existential threats to our constitutional republic. There are other things that are wrong. Don't get me wrong. There's a plethora of things that are wrong. But those are the ones that I believe are an existential threat to your self-governing republic.
Okay, and one more question. What can voters do to help advance agenda? What can we do to help our congressmen advance our agenda?
Abraham Lincoln said it right. You really can't do anything unless you've got the people behind you. You have the power in this nation. You just are we need to step up and use it. Your elected officials, your state elected officials, your county elected officials. And by the way, I was the county judge in Collin County for 12 years. I so enjoyed every presentation up here because every one, I remember the examples in Collin County. Those are important issues. Use your voice, get involved, be informed, as Mitzi said earlier, because you do have the power. I know it doesn't seem like it at times, but you do hold the power. Band together, use your voice with your elected officials, and they will respond.
Okay, and now your closing statement.
I want to just remind everybody, there are a lot of problems in the United States, but we live in the freest, in the most prosperous nation in the world, in the most powerful nation in the world. We have freedoms that other people can't even dream of. And I just want to assure you that there are people in every level of government that are working hard to maintain our self-governing constitutional republic. My job is basically threefold. You really don't follow, most of you don't follow my duties as the chair of the Europe Subcommittee on the Foreign Affairs Committee. You do watch how I vote on budgets and Social Security and the big beautiful bill and all of those issues that impact you. But I also want to tell you, my staff here in Greenville, and I have an office in Greenville, is your advocate for federal agencies. If you have a problem with a federal agency, not your driver's license, but if you have a problem with a federal agency, I have a staff that you go on the website, you sign the privacy form, we will advocate for you. I have one staff member that recovered over $2 million this past week for from our IRS for a constituent. That's the kind of work we do for you. But I just want to remind you that we live in a really, truly wonderful place inside the United States. Texas. As Texas goes, so goes the United States. As the United States goes, so goes the world. You live in the epicenter of what we must protect. That is our constitutional republic, the freedoms that you enjoy, it's hard to describe how blessed we are living in North Texas. And I want to just thank you for the opportunity to be here with you tonight.
Thank all of you for coming. Remember, what's important is what happens at the tables. Please be sure to visit with some of these candidates.